everybody, this is Dr. Dain here to talk to you about choice. What is it? Why do we need it? What's up with choice? And it's one of the most misunderstood concepts in the world. Because if you look at it, if people realized they truly had choice, would they create the lives that they do? Would we have the world that we do? I'm going to say not, but that's just my interesting point of view. I could be wrong. But what is choice actually? And how do you start to recognize what it is and get more of it in your life and then actually choose it to create the possibilities you desire? This may be a really long video. In fact, it may have to be 3 days, I don't know, to even get you started, but we shall see. What I'd like to do today is give you some pointers, a few tips, a couple of things that are maybe you haven't thought about, and also some awareness of what this really is. Because if you look at it, first thing you want to recognize is that whatever your life is right now is actually a sum total of the choices you have made before now. Okay, so look at your life. Here's what I'd like you to do. I'm going to give you some tools as we go through this video. And you can do it or not, your choice. Did you see what I did there? Like, your choice. Like, you'll either do it or you won't do it. Guess what that is? Your choice! Awesome! So the first thing to recognize is we have choice. And the second thing to recognize is we judge ourselves for making one choice or not making another, or not making a choice. It's like we continuously judge ourselves for this thing called choice, which takes away choice. What? So every judgment you have of you takes away choice. Because the idea, for example, if there's a plant, we had a freeze here in Houston, some of you may have heard about. And so there's a thing that used to be a plant, a bushy thing right there. And it's in a big metal, big cast iron pot. So if I chose to kick that, like, you dirty plant, bah, if I chose to kick that, what's going to happen? Well, my foot's going to hurt, right? But a lot of us are doing exactly that in our lives. We're choosing to try to kick these things that are really big and heavy, thinking that if we kick them and show them our frustration or our anger, then we'll change it. Actually, choosing to be different with it is how you change it. So the first thing I'd like you to do is I'd like you to write down the top 10 things that really work in your life and are really awesome. I'll give you a moment while I choose to look at the clouds going overhead and the beautiful trees and the greenery here. I was very excited to be able to be outside making a video because it's not 200 degrees like normal in Houston, and it's gorgeous. Okay, so the top 10 things that work in your life, think about that just for a moment, whatever those are. And I know you haven't had time to write them all down yet. Don't worry about it. Choose to listen instead for this moment. Recognize, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to acknowledge for all of those are things that you chose. Those are things you chose to have in your life. Those are things you chose to have as your life. Those are chose a things which I chose to choose. That's what you did. You chose to choose those things. There you go. You're welcome. Okay, choice. Video over. Done. Goodbye. Hello. Okay. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm not really leaving. Okay. So if you can recognize that you actually chose those things. And here's the weird part about choice that nobody gets. Choice, 99.9% of your choices are not cognitive. What do I mean? Well, it didn't go through your head. I am going to choose this now. Like, some of you are waking up and you've been married for 25 years and you're like, how the fuck did I get here? What happened? Well, you chose that a long time ago. Or you're living somewhere, it's either working or not, whatever your situation is. But a lot of the choices that we make are actually not cognitive. So part of what I'm trying to do is just begin the ball rolling in you having the awareness that you actually have choice, which has created what has already shown up. But the beauty of that, check this out, because when I give you your next top 10 list, you're going to really want this one. The beauty of that is, for the things that aren't working as well as you would like them to, you have the choice to change it. Dude, that right there is where it gets exciting. okay? Because and a lot of us will look at the things in our lives and go, nah, I'm bad, I'm wrong, I chose wrong. Well, no, you didn't choose wrong. You just chose with the tools you had available at the time. The thing I love about Access Consciousness is it's a whole different set of tools. It's a set of tools from beyond this reality. I don't know where the hell they came from, and I'm the one talking about a lot of them. They come into my head, I talk, I give them to people, they use them, and usually they seem to work to create a different possibility. But isn't it great to recognize that you've been choosing? That's what's created what you have. And so now, if you want to create something different, choose differently. You want to create a different life? Choose different. Boom. Hello. Okay, now the video's over. Okay, I'm done. That was fucking awesome. That's all we needed. Just that right there. Oh, I know, we need a little more, don't we? And how do I know this? Because when I came to Access 20 plus years ago, decades ago, I know. I came to Access when I was like 9. Anyway, okay, because I'm so young. Okay, in my mind, I'm very young. When I came to Access 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago now, I had chosen a lot of things in my life, and a lot of things in my life were not working, but I didn't know how the fuck I got to those fucking choices. So now, the next list I'd like you to make is the top 10 things in your life that suck ass. Top 10 things in your life that absolutely are not working, that don't make you happy. And what do I mean by working or not working? Well, do they make you lighter? Do they make you happier? Do they make you feel more like, yay? Or do they make you feel more like, ah? Okay. The ones that make you feel like, ah, or some version of, eh. Some of you won't even go to, ah, because you're like, no, I can't go, ah, because then I'm in judgment of me. And so you go, ah, which is fine. Top 10 things that are not working. I'm going to give you a moment. Okay, that was annoying even to me. Sorry, but I chose it. Guess what though? I'm not wrong. I know you're like, but I'm annoyed. And I'm like, I know, but I'm still not wrong. But wait, I'm annoyed, therefore you should know you were wrong. I'm like, I know you're annoyed, and guess what? I'm still not wrong. Oh my goodness! What if you could have that as your point of view? I know you're annoyed with me right now, and I totally get that, but I'm still not wrong. Meaning I'm still not going into judgment of me. I'm still going to be here, be totally present, not checked out, because you know what happens when you go into judgment of you? You get checked out, right? Well, guess what? Going into judgment of you is a choice. And I make it way more than I would like to also. But I'm getting a hell of a lot better at not judging me. What about you? And what if that's a choice you have available? So let's look at the top 10 things that don't work in your life, whatever the heck they are. And you can write them down after this video or not write them down at all. It really doesn't matter. What I'm trying to get you in touch with is the energy of these things. But if you do write them down, it may actually help. Okay? On both sides, things that work, things that don't. Because look at that list and recognize that you chose those things. Not as a reason to judge you though, okay? Not as a reason to judge you, as a way of giving yourself awareness. So look at that and just write down next to it the first moment where you recognize setting that thing in place. Okay, so for example, some of you, like I was talking about, you know, jokingly are married and whatever. And some of you, here you are, you got married at 30, let's say. You're now, I don't know, 95 or something. And still married, lucky you, good for you, yay! But if you look at where the genesis of that choice actually occurred, way before you being cognitive, you may look and realize, and just ask yourself, how old was I when I set this choice in motion that created this? And you go, holy shit, I was 2. What did you know about getting married at 2? Nothing. But what did you do? You were very aware of everybody around you and their points of view and everything. And we so want to fit in, and we so want to do the right thing, and we so want to do what will make our parents happy. And we see our parents having sort of screwed up relationships a lot of times. Not all of you. There's like 1 in, I don't know, 8,996.7 of you that don't have that, which is awesome. Okay, but a lot of us, we saw our parents having these sort of dysfunctional relationships, and part of what we wanted was to bring harmony to them. Part of what we wanted was to create something that would actually show them that harmony was possible, and part of what we wanted was to be able to be the thing in this world that would allow harmony to exist. And so at a very young age, we set about going, I'm going to do this differently. Do you hear the birds? They're cheering for this one. And if you can't hear the birds, they're cheering for this one, okay? I'm going to do this differently is an idea that a lot of us have, and it's what determines what actually is sometimes, a lot of times, the genesis for our choices. Or I'm going to do this the right way. Or I'm going to do this the way that they want me to. Or I'm going to do this the way that will make people like me. I'm going to do this the way that will get me less judged. I'm going to do this. All of those reasons for choice are not necessarily you going, I would really like to have this. And so we make choices that we don't even realize that we made. And so part of the gift of this conversation is recognizing that, recognizing, once again, you chose the things that work, you chose the things that don't work, but for most of the things that don't work, those are the ones where you made a choice without even realizing you were choosing, usually a long friggin' time ago that set the wheels in motion for that choice to be a reality today. Well, if you chose that as a 2-year-old, or a 5-year-old, or a 12-year-old, or a 25-year-old, or whatever, I mean, you were doing the best job you could with the tools you had available. If you chose it that long ago, or chose to start the wheels in motion that long ago, which is actualized as this today, are you wrong? Or were you just doing the best you could to try to navigate a reality that was not yours? Did you hear that part? Did you hear that? Did you hear that part? About a reality that is not yours? Trying to navigate a reality that is not yours. Trying to navigate a reality you do not understand. Where nobody ever gave you the friggin' rule book. And you see a bunch of people doing crazy shit. And you think, okay, well, I'll do some version of this crazy shit, but I'm going to make mine a slightly less crazy than your crazy shit. Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy it and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And if you happen to find this video on YouTube and you're like, what is this guy saying? Go to theclearingstatement.com. This clearing statement thing that I'm running has all kinds of aspects. Takes me about 20 minutes to explain it. It's a way of changing anything in your life you want to change. It is the biggest upgrade in personal development since there has been personal development. Brought to you by Access Consciousness. Okay, so are you really wrong if you chose something 2 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old? Actually, are you really wrong if you chose something, I don't know, 10 minutes ago that didn't work very well? Are you wrong, or did you just choose something that isn't creating the result you would like? What if that one awareness is the beginning of getting us out of judgment of us and our choices? Here's the weird part about when you judge your choices. Have you ever noticed that when you judge something, you tend to get more of it? So write down your list of top 10 judged and judgeable choices. Okay, now that one may be a little tougher. You can do it or not, your choice. But the reason I bring that up is because we tend to judge ourselves for the things that we do that don't work out in the way that we hope they would. Tend to judge ourselves for the things they do that don't create the result we hope they would. As though somehow if I judge me enough, then I will choose something different. Let me tell you something. It works the exact opposite. When you judge you for a choice that you've made, you seem to keep choosing it over and over and over. Let me give you another scenario, another way of looking at this. What happens when somebody else judges you for the choices you make? Have you ever chosen to be with somebody that your friends didn't like or your parents didn't like? And what do? They're like, you're bad, you're wrong. And you're like, I'm going to stay with them forever. Fuck you. Everything that is, times a godzillion. Will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Just in the short time we've had together so far, which has not been a very short time, it's been a bit of a long time, but sort of a short time, long time, given that this is a lot of information to digest. Do you notice you're starting to get a different sense of choice? Well, this is the beginning of our journey, my beautiful friends, to recognizing that we actually have choice. And if we actually allow ourselves to embrace without dying. Sorry, I had a hairball. If we actually allow ourselves to embrace choice as it actually is and as we can choose it, it becomes the beginning for creating a whole different life, a whole different reality, a whole different world. Could you imagine waking up 5 years from now and loving every aspect of your life? And yeah, you still have some shit to deal with, like stupid people maybe doing their thing, but you don't care as much because one of the secrets is when you know that you're choosing, and when you are creating the life and living you actually desire, what other people do has far less impact on you. What they choose has far less impact on you. Why? Because fundamentally you begin to realize this life I have right now and these things that are occurring, these things that are in motion are my choice, and therefore so is theirs. And even the people that want to be like, you did this to me, you're like, well, I finally realized that I chose all the things I blamed other people for, because it's great. You want to blame other people to make them wrong. We like to do that. We're people. People are weird. I don't understand them. I think we should have more animals and more plants on the planet because people are weird. Anyway, I digress. When you get over the idea that somebody else has created the life that you have and that you can blame them, you also get over the idea that anybody else can blame you for the life they're having. You also get over being angry at them, being upset with them for what they're choosing. You become more like a happy marshmallow walking through the world. So this thing of choice begins with the recognition that we have created our life through our choices. Some of those choices were in resistance to what other people were doing or choosing. Some of those choices were to try to make ourselves feel better than we felt. Some of those choices were things that we learned from other people. And some of those choices, some of those miraculously beautiful choices were from accessing the magic of us. And that is what I would like to invite you to. The awareness that there's something that you are, that you can't put your finger on, that you can't define. But when you function from that, when you function from the awareness that you have the capacity for magical choice, your world becomes a far more beautiful, far more interesting, far more fun, and far more magical place and space to be. So let's look at this for just a moment. There's so many more things I want to say, and this video is already so long. Thank you very much for watching this long if you have. If you haven't gone, bye-bye, I'm going to go to entertainment now. Maybe this is entertaining. Oh, there you go. Okay, good. Let's look at this for just a moment. And I'd like to give you this as a way of sort of taking this from here to here really quick. Get the sense of if you could have your life be anything in the next 3 years. In other words, if you could change any part of it in any way, imagine you had a magic wand. And the reason I do this is because you as the being that you are, not this thinking mind thing. This thing, you know, if you're thinking, you're stinking. Your mind is a dangerous thing. Waste it, okay? But you as the being that you are have this truly miraculous capacity to choose and have it show up. But here's the weird part. We always go, well, how's it going to show up? I need to make this show up. There's a certain point along this journey where you realize that the magic in having something show up is the willingness to simply ask for it, and then the willingness to receive a different reality that would be created if and when it shows up. It's called ask and you shall receive. You may have heard of this. My personal point of view is they hid it in the middle of the Bible so nobody would be able to find it or believe that it actually exists. But this is what I've seen with hundreds of thousands of people around the world. The way to create a different reality is to ask for it and then be willing to receive it. This is where the magic of choice comes in. So imagine you had a magic wand, or you knew a really amazing wizard who could help you actualize anything, help you have anything show up as your life and living in the next 3 years. What would you ask for? Well, rather than the stuff you would ask for, because that's another place we get ourselves stuck. Rather than the stuff, what I found is far more effective and far quicker and far more magical is to get a sense of the energy of how it would be if you had what you would like or had things change, and be really present with that and just like take a moment and go, okay, if I could have anything is the energy of my life. Okay. Let's see, what aspects would it have? Well, let me finish my sentence. Sorry, my ADHD is kicking in big time and the bugs are coming. Go away, bugs. I'm trying to give people choice. Stop choosing to eat me. Okay, anyway, back to you. that idea of being able to energetically access is such an amazing gift, because what we do is we keep thinking, if I just have this amount of money, everything will work. I've known literally thousands of people who asked for and got an amount of money, but their life didn't change. Are you aware that 90 plus, high 90s of people who win the lottery within 2 to 5 years are in exactly the same financial position they were in before winning the lottery, just at a higher level now, with more stress? Why? Because they got the amount of money, but their points of view didn't change. They got the amount of money, but their energy didn't change. They got the amount of money, but their being did not evolve into being able to have that be a creative source, which is where choice comes in. Everything that brought up, everywhere you were like, dude, just tell me how to make the money. If you tell me how to make the money, everything else will fall into place. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, beyond. The only way I know to make money and make a lot of money and have it and be able to keep it, number one, but also be able to have it grow, is by increasing the space of your being. In other words, getting to be what you actually be. That's the only thing I've ever found that leads to true wealth. Just saying. How do you get there? By choosing. Well, how do you get there? Well, I'm working on it. Okay, I'm trying to give you. Okay, so here we go. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to get the sense of, if you could have anything as your life, waking up with any energy, interacting with and as any energy, what would it be like? And you say energy, well, yeah, it's like, how's it feel? How do you sense it? What's it like being alive? Like, think of those days when you wake up and you're on cloud 9 and you're ready to take over the world. Get that energy. And then look at those days where you wake up and you just want to be away from everybody and hit the snooze alarm 27 times and you don't want to be anywhere around anybody. Different energy. So I'm going to walk you through something as quickly as I can. Good luck. So what I'd like you to do is get the sense of waking up and being grateful to be alive. Now notice I look around like this, because for me, it's like this sense of having this space where there's all these energies. It's like there's just this space of this, okay? Being grateful to be alive, being happy to be alive, having a sense, kind of like the birds of, oh my goodness, what can I create today? And the birds are like, chirp, 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 chirp. They don't ever have a bad feather day. Wouldn't that be weird? If you were actually happy day after day after day after day, just get the sense of what that could be like or might be like for you. Get a sense of having total ease with money, meaning that money comes, money goes, and you don't have a stress about it, and you know it's always going to come if some goes. Get a sense of being able to have a sense of miraculousness, meaning ask and you shall receive, and things actually show up. Get a sense of having really fulfilling friendships, people who truly have your back and your front and your sides and your top and your bottom. And people who actually like you in your life. And not frenemies, people who pretend to be your friend and then make you wrong when you choose something. But also not subservient acolytes, people who are like, oh yes, whatever you did was right. People who will actually have your back but call you on your shit when you're being an idiot without a judgment, okay? So people who truly care about you, and so nurturing friendships, nurturing relationships, a nurturing, if you are, looking for an adorable other, a very nurturing, adorable other that truly adores you and is so grateful for the gift that you are. In fact, they see gifts in you that you're not even yet willing to see, but they don't judge you when they don't show up. Get the sense of having ease with your family. Get the sense of having ease no matter what goes on in this insane fucking world we're living in. What the fuck? Hello, Corona Schmarona. Anyway, get the sense of actually being able to have a sense of joy and happiness no matter what goes on, and know that you will be able to weather any storm. And that the expansiveness, the joy of your life just continuously increases and just gets greater and greater all the time. And you don't even know why, and you don't even know how. And then get the sense of not having to control any of that to make it happen. Get the sense of just every day asking for more of what's possible. And instead of trying to control it to make it happen, you actually just get to go on the journey that the universe has for you. Whew. Everything that doesn't allow that to be your life living in reality to be your awareness of what is actually possible, to be that which you can actually ask for right now, which is a choice to ask. Because you got a couple choices right now. You can go, dude, that sounds awesome, let's do that. Or you could go, okay, I'll take part of that, but not the other part of that. Or you could go, you don't understand how life works. Well, given that I was living the other side of this for so long in my life and suffering a lot and not having very much joy and not having very much creation and having very little money and hating myself and wanting to die and getting to the place 20 plus years ago where I was going to kill myself if things didn't change, and coming to access consciousness and having it actually change, and now I'm happier than I've ever been before, and it keeps getting happier and happier, but at the same time there's still things I need to deal with, but it's kind of like my life goes like this, and the dips, instead of being way the hell down here, are like dip, okay, and then back up. So I've walked the journey, which is why I feel totally very happy to bring you this possibility. I've walked the journey. So you absolutely have the choice to reject everything I'm saying and act like it can't work for you. Don't acknowledge the hundreds of thousands of people that it has worked for, though, because it would be very nice if you were the only one it wouldn't work for, which is kind of an esteemed position if you think about it. It's like it's worked for everybody else, but it won't work for me. Just talk to the head, because the rest of me is not listening. That's okay, I used to do that too. I'm such a drama queen, it's so good. Anyway, get the sense of having this actually be available. Now all you got to do is ask for it. Acknowledge that you are choosing to have this. And then anything that feels like that energy, do it. Okay? And if you want, you could get a sense of like this big, I don't know, energy in front of you, this thing we're talking about, and get the sense of it and pull energy into it from the entire universe. It's a very big universe, by the way. Okay? Pull energy into it from the entire universe. Pull energy into it from the entire universe. Pull energy into it, pull energy into it, pull energy into it, until your heart opens up. And then let little trickles go out to everyone and everything who can help make this a reality for you that you don't even know yet. And let the universe contribute. Okay, this is my opening salvo on the conversation of choice. There is so much more to be said. We even have a class called The Choice of Possibilities, which is all about getting you to choice. Okay, I've done my best in this roughly half an hour together, and I thank you very much for watching. Some of you are like, half an hour? Where did that come from? I know, I think the same thing. But I'm hoping this has been a contribution to you, a bit of an energetic journey that you may not have gone otherwise, because I chose, see what I did there, to make this video for you as a contribution to you. Because if we get this, our world changes and becomes greater. If we get that we have choice, then and it starts usually with us personally recognizing we have choice. But what it does is, with enough of us in this world recognizing that we have choice, could you imagine if we had billions of people knowing they had choice, rather than believing that their fortunes were not up to them? If we had billions of people recognizing they had choice and could actually be them, how much would change in our world right now? My question is, are you willing to be one of the pioneers? This is a ground floor opportunity, my friends, because most people don't know this exists. Are you willing to be one of the pioneers that actually brings this to the world? And not even from that perspective, but from the awareness that a lot of people don't get it. A lot of people will tell you all kinds of bullshit. Just realize what's true for you always makes you lighter. A lie for you always makes you heavier. Throw away the stuff that makes you heavier. Only bring that which makes you lighter. Realize most people don't even begin to get the concept of choice, even the people that are talking about it in the world as though they get it and nobody else does. And see what's true for you in this regard and what you can actually choose. So I gave you a few exercises, hopefully gave you some inspiration and a hell of a lot of information. You might want to listen to or watch this one a few more times, and let's see what's possible for you and us together to choose. What if you, truly being you, with the gift of choice as your greatest ally, are the gift, the change, and the possibility this world requires? You are, my beautiful friends. Thank you so very much for watching, especially if you've made it this far. And what else is possible for you? I very much look forward to seeing you soon, in person or online, my Brady Bunch family around the world. Mwah. Bye-bye!